There are two different ways you can find the slope. You can count the rise over run, so from this point to here, or you can use the formula. So here, even though we aren't given the coordinates, we can write those down if you want to use the formula. This is -4, -1, and this coordinate here is 0, -2. Okay, so from there, again, you can use whichever one you want. However, here, since we already have a graph, I'm going to count the rise over run. So rise is going to be up or down to get to the next point, which is on your y-axis. That's why I put these in y. It's just the difference between the y values. So to get from here to here, I would have to go down 1. And then to get from this point, again, run is left to right. I'm going to have to go to the right 1, 2, 3, 4. And because my line is falling left to right, it's going to be a negative slope, so -1/4. For number 2, you can use the slope formula since you're already given the points. If you really want to, you can graph it and count the rise over run. So I'm going to plug these into the formula. So I'm going to go ahead and label my coordinates. So we'll do y in red, y1, y2. Again, it doesn't matter which one you use as long as you have them paired with the correct x and y value. And x will be x1 and x2. So now let's go ahead and plug those in. So we have -3 minus a -7. Don't forget that. A lot of people got this wrong because they just plugged in -3 minus 7. Okay, so this is actually going to be a positive. And then we have 0 minus -6. Which again changes to a positive. Negative times negative is going to be a positive. So -3 plus 7 is 4, and then 0 plus 6, 6, and remember this can simplify to +2/3. So again, you can use this formula, right, for here. You can use the points. If you wanted to use the rise over run here, all you'd have to do is graph them. Number 3. Okay, go ahead and just always have this on the top of your paper. This is the slope-intercept form. M is your slope, and then the B is the y-intercept, so just the y value. So here, all you had to do was write the equation in slope-intercept form. They gave you everything you needed to know. So if you had this written on the top of your paper, or you had those notes that we took all last week, this one should have been no problem. Okay, so we have y equals m, which is our slope 3, and our y-intercept is -5. So even though this is a positive here, this sign depends on the sign of the y-intercept. So this is 3x minus 5. So for number 4, they're giving us the equation in slope-intercept form, so we can use that. We can plot the y-intercept and then use the slope to find another point on the line. So my y-intercept is +2. So your y-axis, I'm going to plot this point, +2. So again, that just means when x is 0, y is 2. Now I can use the slope to find another point. So this is a positive slope, so my line is going to be increasing from left to right. So I want to find a point over here. I could go up 1, 2, and over 1. If you wanted to find a point down here, again, instead it would be down 2 over 1. Okay, so all you need are 2 or 3 points, and you've got your line. Number 5, you had to write the equation in slope-intercept form. So if this is our slope-intercept form, we have y on one side. This is standard form, so all we have to do is solve for y to get y on the left, and that's your slope-intercept form. So you want to go ahead and get rid of this 5x first. Let's write this out. So we're going to subtract 5x from both sides. 5 minus 5 is 0. And we're left with negative 2y. So here, technically 6 minus 5x is correct, but since our slope-intercept form has x first, we're going to want to write that in front. Negative 5x plus 6. Now we want to get rid of the negative 2, so we're going to do the opposite of multiply and divide everything by negative 2. So this cancels out, but here we have a negative divided by a negative. So this is going to be positive 5 over 2, and this is negative 3. Number 6 was the same exact problem, except it was not multiple choice. So let's do this one over here. So again, we want to get rid of this 7x first. So we have to subtract 7x from both sides. So now we're left with negative y equals negative 7x plus 4. We can't have a negative y, so we have to multiply or divide everything by negative 1, which will make this a positive. So instead of thinking of it that way, you can just change the sign of each term. So if this is going to be a positive, then we would change this to a positive and 4 to a negative. So that's your equation, slope-intercept form. Number 7, we're doing the same exact thing we did in 5 and 6, except we're going to graph that line after we're done. So we have to rewrite the equation in slope-intercept form first. So again, we're just solving for y. So we're subtracting 2x from both sides, which leaves us with 5y equals negative 2x minus 5, and divide everything by 5. So this is negative 2 over 5x minus 1. So this is a negative slope, so our line is going to be decreasing or falling from left to right. So this is our y-intercept. So we're going to go ahead and graph that. This is negative 1. And then we can use our slope to find another point. So since this is negative, we can either find a point over here or over here. So if you can use the rise over run, you're going to be going up 1, 2, and to the left 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're finding a point over here, you're going to go down instead. 1, 2, and then to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. Okay, number 8, same exact problem. So we want to get y on one side to get our slope-intercept form. So we're subtracting 5x from both sides. We're left with negative 3y equals negative 5x minus 9. Now here we're dividing everything by negative 3. So we're just left with y. And again, negative divided by negative is going to be positive 5 over 3. Same thing here, negative divided by negative is positive 3. So this is our y-intercept, positive 3. And our slope is positive, so it's going to look like this, increasing from left to right. So we're going to have a point down here and up here. So I'm going to find one down here because there's not much room over here. So if I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and to the left 3. 1, 2, 3. And if you found a point over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's going to be somewhere up there. Okay, Okay, so number 9, we're still writing our equation in slope-intercept form, except we're only given the slope and 1 point. So if you remember, you can either solve for b, so we're plugging in x, y, and m, which is our slope, and solving for b, or you can graph the point and use the slope to find the y-intercept. So I'm going to start by solving for b. So we have -5 our slope is -1/4. And we have an x value of 4. So now we only have one variable to solve for. So -1/4 times 4, you're going to think, what's 1/4 of 4? 4 divided by 4. So this will be a -1. And now to get b by itself, we're just going to add 1 to both sides. So we have -4 equals b. So again, we're writing the equation in slope-intercept form. So we now have our slope and the y-intercept. So y equals -1/4 x minus 4. Should be a. If you really don't like solving for b and you want to graph, it gets a little messy, but you can. So plot this point here. So x is 4, and we're down -5. So from here, you're going to use the slope to find a point on the y-axis. So our slope is negative, so it's decreasing from left to right. So if we find a slope, let's see, we're going to be going up 1 and to the left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, which actually brings us right there. Our y-intercept is -4, and that's what this point is. X is 0, y is -4.